Hey guys, Nick Espinoza, your Chief Security Fanatic here, and today we're actually going to be talking about robotics and automation. And the reason why we're going to be talking about this is because I'm wondering if all of the advances in automation and robotics are actually making us somewhat less safe and definitely less educated. And here's why. I read a very interesting article in USA Today basically about this subject as it pertains to the Boeing 737 MAX. Now, if you recall, two of these went down, and these are very automated things. And so there was a glitch in the automation in some way, shape, or form. I'm not going to dive into that. And basically, these things went plunging down, killing everybody there. And so that is actually a very serious issue. And so from this USA Today article, I want to quote a couple of different things because I think it really lays the backdrop here for a question that we need to answer as we continue to progress with technology. And I quote, "While advanced autopilots and computers are now considered an integral part of any modern jetliner, many pilots worry that the systems are detracting from developing and maintaining their own abilities." Quote, "We've been talking about this in the industry for years. Pilots are losing their basic flying skills, and there's an over-reliance on automation." This comes from Les Westbrooks. He's an associate professor at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. And so obviously, that sets the kind of backdrop for this. We have been relying on automation and robotics increasingly as the years have gone on, as these improved and advanced. So, for example, we've had some instances of Tesla's driverless cars crashing and killing the passengers in the vehicle or the driver in the vehicle. And we know that studies show if, let's say, 100% of cars were automated, basically car crashes would go way down to the point of almost non-existence because the cars would be basically communicating with each other. We would take human error out of the issue. But what happens when automation fails or there's a glitch like the 737 MAX or something else? Not to mention the fact that in order to be a pilot, for example, you have to spend hours and hours and hours of training, learning, calculating, understanding, all the various parts and components. But now, if we're lowering those standards or that training becomes less because the planes are taking these over, then what happens in an emergency situation where human intervention is required, such as, let's say, taking over for a driverless car, taking over for an airplane that is plunging to its death because the automation had a glitch or a failure or whatever that is? I think these are things that we have to answer because as we continue to improve, as we allow robots to take tasks, not necessarily our jobs, although I'm sure some jobs will be lost, take these tasks over, what do we do in terms of educating people, in those roles? Are pilots basically no longer going to be pilots, or are they basically going to be computer engineers that are going to be, let's say, fixing the artificial intelligence on the fly if need be? Or will planes simply in the future have zero human capability in the cockpit and just completely rely on, flying from A to B? I mean, that seems like the world that we're going to, but we have to understand that this comes at the sacrifice of, let's say, the intuitiveness that a human can offer in a crisis situation, especially one that is well trained, and that training is no longer going to be there, which ultimately may make us less safe in those rare situations where our automation or our robotics falls down on us due to failure of programming, glitching, damage, whatever that is. And so I thought that was an interesting topic that needs to be brought up, and it needs to have an honest discussion about this as we move forward, because we are continuing more and more to risk our lives, or rather not risk our lives, but put our fate, if you will, in the hands of this automation. I fly and travel quite a bit. I know that the planes I'm on are significantly more automated than they were even, let's say, 5-10 years ago. And so what does that do to me? How much more safe am I? I mean, I'm always rooting for the pilot to get us there, but now I'm kind of rooting for the plane too. So I think it's an important question to ask, and I hope you guys have some input on here because I'm curious to hear your thoughts. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP. And as always, stay safe and stay online. Thanks, guys.